Hey kids, whether you're here from CCA or the daycare or the church and Kids Zone or We Kids, I am so glad that you're here today. Today, our chapel lesson was supposed to be about gentleness. Now, if you're from CCA, you know that we've been going through the fruit of the Spirit all year long. Now, we've been through love, we've been through joy, we've been through patience, kindness, goodness, and what we haven't been through yet is gentleness. And so what we're going to look at today and for the rest of the month is gentleness. And how can we be gentle, and why does gentleness matter? And where is the gentleness in the Easter story? Because I couldn't talk to you today without talking about Easter. And you might be thinking to yourself, Mr. John, there's no gentleness in the Easter story. There's no gentleness at all. But I think there's gentleness in one spot that maybe we don't always see. But before I get into that, I want to talk to you about April Fool's Day. That's right. It's one of my favorite holidays because it's right around my birthday. My birthday was on Sunday, and it's always been something that I've been able to do with my brother and my friends, and we play pranks on each other, and it's just so much fun to do. And I remember that one time I was actually with my entire family, grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles, on April Fool's Day. And it was a crazy day. We were all hanging out, and my cousin decided that he was going to play a prank on his dad. His dad was my uncle, and he was my cousin. And so his dad went up to go to the kitchen to go get some more food. And when he came back, my cousin nudged me in the shoulder and he said, "Hey, watch this." And he took a fork and he put the fork on his seat. And so when my uncle sat down on top of the fork, and the fork poked him, and he immediately got back up and said, "Ow!" And he was so angry. He was so angry because it had hurt that he had sat on that fork and that his son, my cousin, had done that to him. Now, you and I hear that and we say, well, it was a prank, it was funny. But sometimes pranks and things that some people think are funny go a little too far. You know, I tell you, I love to laugh. I love to make jokes, and I love to do all those types of things with my friends, my family, everyone. But sometimes when you're laughing, other people aren't laughing. Or maybe you've been in a situation where other people are laughing and you're not laughing because it hurt your feelings, or something that they did didn't make you feel very good. You see, sometimes jokes can go too far. And then there's other times where it's not a joke at all, and it's really just people being mean to somebody else. And that's not fun either. One thing that has always happened to me is that when I see somebody being mean to somebody else, it makes me upset. It used to make me really, really mad to see one of my friends, or to see somebody getting really, really upset or being made fun of, or just people being mean to them. It wasn't very good. I didn't like it very much. And so one day, I decided that I wasn't going to be mad over it anymore. I was going to be gentle, and I was going to find gentleness. And so even though people deserve, in my mind, even though they deserve to have things happen to them that are bad because they were mean to other people, I was going to be gentle, and I wasn't going to seek revenge. I wasn't going to be mean to him. Now, have I always been perfect? No, I haven't. But it's something I try to do as many times as I possibly can. And I remember that because of something that happened in the Easter story. You see, in the Easter story, Jesus was in the garden praying. And one of his friends, the disciples that was hanging out with him, he actually betrayed Jesus. And he told the people who were mad at Jesus, the Pharisees, he told them where Jesus was so they could go arrest him so he could go to the cross. Now, when these people came to arrest him, 3 other disciples were with Jesus. And one of the disciples, his name was Peter. He was kind of a crazy guy. But one of the disciples got so mad that he took his sword out and he actually cut off one of the guy's ears. And so Jesus, instead of saying, "Yeah, go Peter, cut off his ear, yeah, sword fight," instead of doing that, the Bible says that Jesus commanded Peter, "Put your sword away." And he said to him, "Shouldn't I drink the cup of suffering the Father has given me?" Now, That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Jesus didn't have a cup. But what he was saying is look, God has put this here for something bad to happen to me. That's okay. It's something that God is doing. But Jesus wasn't mad about it. And in fact, Jesus actually took that guy's ear and put it right back on his head. And Jesus was gentle with them. Even though these Pharisees were trying to get rid of Jesus and be really mean toward Jesus and do the wrong things toward him, and they eventually did. They eventually got him up on that cross, and they eventually did kill him. Jesus was still gentle with them. It turns out Jesus was gentle the whole time too, because Jesus came back from the dead. He was in the tomb, and the stone was rolled away, and he came back. And he didn't come back to go get the Pharisees and to pull out a sword and cut their ears off and do all those things. No, he came back to be with his friends. He came back to talk to them. He came back to help them. And that's the kind of friend I want to be. That's the kind of person I want to be. I want to be somebody who's gentle, somebody who's loving, somebody who's forgiving and gracious, just like Jesus was. And so I have a challenge for you today. I have a challenge for you to go find a rock. I'm sure you can find a rock outside somewhere. And I want you to get some paint, and I want you to paint something on that rock that reminds you to be gentle. And once you have your rock done, you put it on your dresser and remind yourself to be gentle when you see that rock. Remind yourself to be gentle, that even when people treat you bad, you're not going to let it make you mad. But be gentle with people. Don't paint on your rock a mean face and say, oh, I'm going to get people back when they're mean to me. No. Paint something on your rock that reminds you to be gentle with other people. Even when they do things that are wrong, even when they do things that they shouldn't do, that it reminds you to be gentle with them, just like Jesus was gentle with the people who were mean to him. I look forward to talking to you guys again next week. Bye.